God, I love coming here to Kalaloch. I started coming here, oh gosh, back in 2002 with my wife Mary. She'd come here since she was a little kid. Now we discovered South Beach. It's the overflow beach for Kalaloch, and we love it. And Gary, who's holding the camera right now, we met here a few years ago, and we've been camping every now and again together, and this is the first time he's brought out his kites. This is kind of fun. Nah, I've seen the kite movie before, where in India they have competitions where they're trying to cut each other's kite with the glass embedded string. I thought that was cool, and I didn't know Gary was into this, so I thought, why not show him this? This is pretty neat stuff.
So the thing about fighter kites is they come from all over the world. India, all parts of Asia, South America. It's a big deal. Here's the only place in the world that really doesn't take kite flying to this level, you know, fighter kites. This particular kite is based on a style coming out of Japan. It's called a buka, and this is made by my friend Stone McLaren. And they're really fun to fly. It's a little challenging, but it's a low wind style kite too. So, and they can be really large. They can get really big. And then in other parts of the world, this particular kite is flown in a horizontal fashion, and in other parts of the world, they're flown like in Korea, they're flown like this. And some of the designs are just unbelievable, just beautiful. I'll give it a whirl and see how it goes. The wind's changed on me a bit here, so the principles are all the same though. I'm gonna let some string out here. Here we go. You have to be really aware of what's happening on the front end of that kite. That's where you're going to go the minute you start pulling on it, right? You're kind of at the mercy of the wind too. The wind today is a little lower than what I like to fly in, but it's still manageable. The string, it's a fly fishing string. I think this is like a 30 or 40 pound fly fishing string. In India, they cover them with glass, and that's how they cut the other guy's strings off. And they have these kids that run around, they call them kite runners, and they'll go and steal the kites and bring them back. I think that's what really prompted a lot of people's interest in here, because of that movie and the book. But this is a gentle kite to fly. It doesn't hurt your fingers or anything. There's no tail on these things. You can put a tail on them, but it slows them down considerably. It takes a while to master these things, I'll tell you. It's not easy. Not easy at all, but it's really fun. I like the challenge, for sure. And typically, most flyers build their own kites. Most of my kites that I have are my own. The designs are shared. There's access to lots of designs on the internet. And typically, the kites that are made in Asia are made out of bamboo. But a lot of guys are substituting the bamboo for fiberglass. Let's bring it in and I'll show you. So this one is made out of fiberglass. The design's pretty straightforward. Just a bit of tape. This bend is really important. It allows it to be more aerodynamic. and so on. You can change the bend if you want to. I don't know. I don't typically mess around with this, but I think if you change the angle of this arc, it will it'll definitely affect the way it flies.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
And the string's kind of neat too. It's attached here and here. This allows you to make adjustments. If it's not spinning the way you want it, you can adjust this knot here to make it go favor spinning in this direction and so on. And you can also change the pitch here to make it spin faster and slower. So it's very you can articulate it in lots of different ways. It takes some practice doing that too. This is a design that's typical in India. This is made out of paper. Now, we don't like to use these on the west coast here because it's too damp. They tend to ruin them and they don't last very long. So I'm just kind of keeping this as a part of my collection. And these pieces are all cut out and glued together. And they are really beautiful, yeah.
Oh gosh,
it's
isn't just one sheet.
It's not a print, no, it's cut and glued.
Right.
It's actually got damaged over time. And this kite here is it's either printed or hand painted. And this kite is called a Grand Master. You can see the bamboo.
Yeah. So where do you buy these little ferrules here?
You know what? That's probably just handmade. It's just a piece of, yeah, it's just a piece of aluminum. All this is this has probably been steamed at some point and bent. I wish I was a little more knowledgeable about the aerodynamics, but I think it allows for the spin. Most kite flyers also have to build their own boxes. This is, I believe, the very first kite I ever made. And the design is called Donna's Dog. And it's part bamboo and part fiberglass. And it still holds up. Maybe we can give that a fly and see how that does.
Sure.
It's a little harder to see which direction it's going to go because it's completely square. It's a very fast kite. So I'm gradually letting out string right now. If you get the string out of order, it'll get tangled. When you're fighting kites, in North America, they don't allow you to cut the strings. So they have two types of competitions. One is where you touch a string above, over top, and you get a point, or you touch the other kite from underneath. And if you're going to be touching the kite string from underneath, you want to get your kite really low to the ground so you can't get, the other guy can't get underneath it. And then it's the opposite. When you're going to do an over the top touch, the kite's going way up because you're trying to get above the other guy's kite string. So you have to be able to control the kite at a very low part of the ground. And if you notice, when I had it down low, it's spinning, and that keeps the control close to the ground. And then when you're ready to go, if the other guy comes underneath or whatever, you can then dart up and hit his string. Now the wind's picking up a bit. It makes it more frantic. Much different than flying a kite with 2 strings. But you got complete control. And I find these a lot more fun because of the challenge. After you fly one of these for a while and go back to 2 strings, the 2-string kites seem boring.